I've got my top 10 must-add hitters for this week in fantasy baseball, and that list is coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to give you my top 10 must-add hitters for Week 7 in fantasy baseball. If you like this content, then please smash that like button. And a special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for 14% of all viewers. To the other 86% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. Do you have a burning fantasy baseball question? Ask me on Q. Go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds, submit your question, and for a small fee, I will personalize a response and send it to your email. It's super easy to do, and it's a great way to get fantasy baseball advice while also supporting this channel. Now let's kick off this list. At number 10, we have Vaughn Grissom, 30% owned. No stats over the last 2 weeks here, but after missing the first month of the season with a hamstring injury, Grissom is officially back. He's going to hit in the bottom third of the order for the time being, but as we have seen lately, the Red Sox order is very fluid. Grissom can do a little bit of everything with a bit of pop mixed in with some middling speed. He should be a good contact hitter that can go 10 homers and 10 stolen bases to finish off the year. Let's go to number 9. We got Nick Senzel, 12% owned, 7 runs scored over the last 2 weeks with 5 homers, 9 runs batted in, and a .243 average. The Reds castaway has found a new home in Washington. Senzel has emerged as a nice power threat and has wiggled himself into a position in the top third of the batting order. He is aggressive on the base paths despite having below average speed, but he is walking a career high 10% of his at-bats. He is squaring up pitches at a nice rate, so he's worth taking a look for as long as he is hot. Let's go to number 8. We got Willie Castro, 34% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 7 runs scored, a homer, 10 runs batted in, 3 stolen bases, and a .412 average. One of the fantasy game's most well-known multi-position players, Castro makes the list this week. His plate discipline leaves a lot to be desired, but he's another player who's making great contact right now. For those who remember his season last year, he made a name for himself when he stole 33 bags. He could be in the mix for that again this year, along with possibly 10 homers. Let's go to number 7. We got Tyler Nevin, 27% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 7 runs scored, 4 homers, 7 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .340 average. The former Baltimore prospect, Nevin is seeing some playing time with the amazingly average Oakland Athletics. Nevin himself personifies his team as he's been slightly above average hitter all season long. What makes him an interesting pickup though is his versatility and his spot in the lineup. He also had an impressive 4-game streak of having multiple hits that was just broken on Friday night. Let's go to number 6. We got Connor Wong, 28% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 5 runs scored, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in, and a .355 average. Boston is getting some more love in this list with the addition of Connor Wong. He's playing roughly 3/4 of the games behind the plate, but he has been moved up to a nice run-producing spot when he does hit. What many people don't know is how fast he is. He hasn't showcased it much this year, but he's certainly capable of swiping 10 bags in a season if he's given the green light. And that's not too bad for a catcher. Moving on to number 5, we got Wilyer Abreu, 56% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 9 runs scored, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .429 average. Abreu was featured last week, and he gets a nod again as he's still available in more than 40% of leagues as of the time of this writing. Boston has a lineup full of dynamic hitters who can extend at bats and make life troubling for opposing pitchers, and Abreu is proven to be one of them. His value lies in his on-base percentage and aggressiveness on the bases, and I don't see those trends changing anytime soon. Let's go to number 4. We got Andy Pages, 35% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 11 runs scored, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in, and a .313 average. Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Pages. The number 3 Dodger prospect is showing no issues with his jump to the majors, as he has been making solid contact in his 65 plate appearances so far in the bigs. The decision to call him was based on the injury to Jason Hayward's back, but even when he does return, the way that Pages is hitting right now, it's hard to see him losing a whole lot of playing time. Let's go to number 3. We got Eloy Jimenez, 56% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 7 runs scored, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .280 average. Eloy has slipped many minds this season. Team record and poor start playing factors in that, of course. The fact, though, is although he sustained a fair number of injuries in his career, he's healthy right now, and he's far and away the best hitter on this White Sox squad. And he's also going to have a little bit of help too, as Luis Robert is ramping up activities and should be joining Eloy in the lineup very soon. Let's go to number 2. We got Jacob Young, 53% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 10 runs, 5 runs batted in, 6 stolen bases, and a .378 average. 0 power, 100 speed. I typically don't sign off on these type of hitters, but Young has done a great job with spraying his hits, and he's been bumped up in the Nationals lineup. He did get pulled from his game on Friday night due to back spasms, but it only looks like a short-term issue. If you need some speed, Young is worth a look, and he could chase 40 stolen bases by season's end. But don't expect for him to hit any balls over the fence, though. And finally, at number 1, we got Joe Adell, 41% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 5 runs scored, 3 homers, 8 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .333 average. Adell is one of the most polarizing fantasy players to own. He's got tantalizing upside, questionable defense, and plate discipline, and that's the reason why it's difficult to actually own him. It's no secret that he can hit, as he's in the 90th percentile in expected batting average, expected slugging, barrel percentage, and hard hit percentage. But I would still question rostering him if it wasn't for his 29 feet per second sprint speed. It's a volatile pickup at number 1 this week, but he has the ability to make an Ellie De La Cruz light type of impact. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.